Okay, so I think we can all agree that working holidays, it just sucks in general, but working holidays in retail is probably one of the worst experiences you could possibly have. I don't know what it is that's so unique about working retail during the holidays, but everybody is just in a hurry and they seem to forget all of their manners just overnight anytime there's any kind of good deal. Just look at the old Black Friday stuff. I do kind of wish that I had existed long enough to be able to enjoy that as like a purchaser or a buyer, but you would not see me dead trying to get into those stores whenever I'm working in them. Like if I was working at Walmart at that time, ooh, I would have taken that off as a paid holiday. And what's sad is you couldn't take it off as a paid holiday because they knew it was going to be awful. But in this video, I'm going to talk about all of the various things that I have to go through during the holiday season from a retail perspective, but it's kind of a third person retail perspective because I'm a vendor at these places. So I go in and I deal with the batteries. Specifically, it's usually my kind of vendor thing, but I deal with the batteries, which is probably the worst during Christmas. So I'm mostly going to be focusing on the Christmas holiday because that's usually what people think about when they think about terrible holidays and retail is Christmas specifically. Thanksgiving a little bit, but mostly Christmas. But let's get into it. So first and foremost, nobody knows where anything is and everything has 27 names to it, but we have something very specific and very important that sells a ton of batteries, and it's holiday specific, so it has to be out the door and finished selling through its product by the time the holiday is over. So all of this that you see here, this from our point of view is called a power station. This from everybody else's point of view seems to have a different name for every store that I go to, and I don't understand why. But retail is terrible whenever it comes to this from what I've seen, because I'll call it a power station because that's what the company named it. The store will either call it a rolling rack, a holiday station, a power, or something another. Like it always has different names to it based upon the store. The two I've seen the most of is rolling rack and holiday shipper. Those are the two that's very prevalent. But that doesn't mean that the other ones didn't have different stuff. And the problem with it being a rolling rack specifically is that everything in here that has wheels on it is called a rolling rack. So that makes it incredibly non-specific when they try to look it up in the system. And you would think like, oh, well, why doesn't the company make some kind of way for their representatives to be able to find these a little bit easier? They did! They wrapped them in a green nylon film that I'm sure is fantastic for the environment. They wrapped this thing to where it should be so easy to find in the back that it should be insane. Problem. Every other company also felt festive, I guess, and just decided that it was a good idea to wrap their product also in a green vinyl, and also put it onto these backroom shelves. Why does it all have to be green? That's my question. Everything is green for this holiday. That's the big indicator in these back rooms, is this green vinyl, and it makes it to where even though any other time of year when things are normally wrapped to look like this nice clear coating, some boxes, whatever, the green would stick out like a sore thumb here. But anytime around Christmas, this whole back room is just festive, super festive, more festive than the actual floor is, because everything suddenly becomes green. And it rounds back to having the same problem that now, once again, it is insanely hard to find this thing. It is so hard to locate. And the front desk people that normally are fantastic and normally know exactly what's going on and normally are great at helping and whatnot, these guys overworked like crazy and they are like saints. I don't know how they do it, but these front desk people, I want to give them a small shout out on this. But during this season, during the holiday season, even their saintdom is reduced to ash because they're so tremendously overworked and so got so many questions going on at any given time that it's like I'm amazed that any of them can keep their head on straight with just person after person after person. Like there's always this huge line of people coming out of the customer service section during this point, and it's because for some reason the retail thinks it's a good idea to have returns up here and to have all kinds of other stuff up here. I think they got rid of the put stuff on hold thing, whatever they were doing with that a long time ago. That or they moved it somewhere else, so at least they don't have to do that now, but they still have to do like a million tasks during around this time. But they're the only ones who have any knowledge of where anything goes in that back room other than the people directly, like, stacking it. But the people stacking it definitely do not want to talk to me right now because, they're actively trying to figure out how to stack 78 times what this store can hold in this back room, which is another problem, that these back rooms usually have these nice long walkways that are perfectly safe and I feel secure in using. Downside, during this time of year, no walkway, nowhere to stand, no safety, everything's precariously hanging off the ledge, everything's badly wrapped. I have had it to where one of these power stations, because they needed batteries, got cut into, and it's just hanging up here with half of its side open, and I'm just hoping that these tons and tons of batteries don't fall and just hit somebody in the face like that over there, because batteries are surprisingly heavy, and like one of these 24 packs, or God forbid one of these 32 packs, if they hit you in the face, even though it's one pack of batteries, you will absolutely notice it, and you will be having a bad day. There's a high likelihood it's gonna break your nose if it hits you in the face like that right there. I'm sorry, I'm just enjoying this guy getting hit in the face. But with that said, the battery islanders are super packed, but they run out very quickly during this time. And because of that, they get cut open. These power stations, get cut open and just left back here. Because they come completely filled, which I've always thought was kind of dumb. But they come already filled with all of the batteries they're going to have during this time. And that's great for it being easy to, set up. You just got to move it onto the floor, plop it down, get all the stuff off of it, and then boom, bam, you're good. But it also lends itself towards these things getting insanely messed up in shipping, which is really bad, because like I said, during this time of year, this is like 70% of battery sales, and this is a large margin of the store's sales as a whole whenever these go out. Like each one of these shippers per week, I think it is, makes the store an extra like $15,000. It's insane the amount of money that these shippers make for the store, and they have to get them onto the floor so as it can do it. They have to get them onto the floor so as I can get them selling and whatnot. Because obviously during this time, everybody makes commission. Everybody makes some kind of commission. Let's not beat around the bush on that. Retail, any of the leads or any of the coaches or anything like that, all of us make commission, and we care a great deal about getting these on the floor, and the vendors care even more about getting these on the floor, because if we don't hit a certain sales percentage, we don't get any bonus at all around Christmas, which I know is such a first world problem, but like if you had that dynamic, you would be pretty heavily incentivized to try to get this onto the floor as soon as possible too, But I can't even find the dang thing. Like half the time it's back here just an elusive mystery, which is weird because again, it's like the size of the Islander. Like these things are not small, and it's double-sided, and it's heavy. It's heavy! Because again, it's entirely full of batteries, so just thousands and thousands of pounds. Luckily, I've never seen one of these fall on somebody's face, but I have seen them get a little bit close. Because these above all else would be terrible for that. But when I do find them, luckily, a lot of my store managers, they fight me on everything. They fight me on most everything. What's weird is even they don't fight me on getting this on the floor. Even they recognize that this thing being on the floor is insanely important to them. So it's one of the few wins that we get during the holidays where I actually get to not have to deal with one of my managers being a pain, and that's fantastic. But other than that, everyone else is a pain, because while they are heavily incentivized to get this onto the floor, they also have 1,000 other things that they're trying to get onto the floor. Like, it's so crowded during this time when it comes to inventory, and we're trying to get these things out in like September. I'm a part of that problem. The whole thing of like, oh, Christmas is ever creeping closer and closer to, summer. I'm a part of that problem, and I admit it. I want the sales. But yeah, no, we're trying to get these things out, and there's just a million other things that they want to try to get onto the floor. But other than that, that's basically my big thing as a vendor, is just trying to get these things onto the floor, trying to get some sales going, and dealing with people. People is a whole separate problem, and I talked about a little bit of that last time on the previous video. But yeah, people... it's packed. We all know it. Everybody's talked about it. Everybody knows these Walmarts are shoulder to shoulder during this time. Like, that one I don't think needs to be covered for the bazillionth time, but I just wanted to really quickly go over, like, a unique position in retail, which is the vendor position of these things. But hopefully everybody enjoyed the video. I'm glad that you were able to find it. Hopefully, leave a comment if you're in retail and you have, like, a unique position you think would be kind of fun.